People with addiction need to do this. They need to decide that today is not just another day to survive, not just another day to escape, not just another day to numb the pain, but a day to wake up, to fight, to take ownership of their life, to stop believing that they are powerless, and to recognize that there is a strength in them greater than the pull of any substance, greater than the grip of any habit, greater than the weight of any shame. I want you to hear me now. Not with your ears alone, but with your heart, because this is not theory, this is not philosophy, this is life and death. Addiction is not something that politely asks for permission to enter your life. It crashes in, takes over your thoughts, your body, your relationships, your dreams. It whispers that you need it, that you cannot live without it, that you are nothing without it. But here's the truth. People with addiction need to recognize the lie. They need to see that voice for what it is, a parasite, a manipulator, a thief. And the very first step, the one thing people with addiction need to do before anything else, is to stand up and say, no more. This ends here. I am not my addiction. I am more than this chain. I am more than this craving. I am more than the mistakes I've made under its influence. People with addiction need to do the hard thing, the uncomfortable thing, the terrifying thing. They need to be honest. Honest with themselves, honest with their families, honest with their God if they believe, honest with the mirror. Because addiction thrives in secrecy and denial in the shadows. It loves when you tell yourself, I am fine, I can handle it, I'll quit tomorrow. No one needs to know. That S, the breeding ground where it grows. But when you shine light on it, when you say out loud, yes, I am struggling. Yes, I am addicted. Yes, I need help. Suddenly the power begins to weaken. Because the truth always weakens lies. People with addiction need to take responsibility, not in the sense of blaming themselves endlessly, not in the sense of drowning in guilt, but in the sense of saying, yes, I did this, I walked down this road, but because I walked down it, I also have the power to turn around. I may not be able to erase the past, but I can decide the future. And people with addiction need to understand something critical. Willpower alone is not enough. If willpower alone was enough, you would have quit already. Willpower is a muscle. And like every muscle, it gets fatigued. If you try to fight every craving, every temptation, every day, alone, on your own strength, eventually you collapse. That is why people with addiction need to do this. They need to build system. They need to build accountability. They need to find community. No soldier goes to war alone and expects to win. You don't fight an army with bare hands. You need allies. You need people who have been there, people who will hold you accountable, people who will look you in the eye when you want to run back to your comfort zone and remind you who you truly are. People with addiction need to surround themselves with those who won. Let them settle. Who won? Let them stay in the pit. Who won? Let them believe the lie that this is all their life can be. Listen to me. Addiction will whisper to you that you are hopeless. It will say, this is who you are. You are a drunk. You are a junkie. You're a failure. You will always come back. But that voice is a liar. People with addiction need to talk back. They need to rewrite the narrative in their head. Every time that voice says, you can't live without this, you need to say, I can, and I will. Every time it says, you are too weak, you say, I am stronger than you think. Every time it says, you will never change, you answer, well, it's me. Because the battle is not just in your body, it is in your mind. It is in the stories you tell yourself, the identity you claim, the name you answer to. If you call yourself broken, you will act broken. If you call yourself powerless, you will live powerless. But if you call yourself free, even before you feel it, even before you see it, your mind begins to shift. People with addiction need to declare freedom with their words until their actions catch up. And you know what else people with addiction need to do? They need to feel the pain instead of numbing it. I know that sounds cruel. I know it sounds harsh, but listen carefully. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a signal. Pain is your body and soul saying, something is wrong. Pay attention. Addiction teaches you to run from pain, to drown it, to escape it, to silence it. But if you never listen to pain, you never learn what it's trying to teach you. Pain says you need healing. Pain says you need growth. Pain says you need to face what? Underneath the trauma, the wounds, the losses, the regrets. People with addiction need to stop running and say, okay, I'll face it, I'll cry it out, I'll scream it out, I'll talk it out, I'll feel it fully. Because when you face pain, it begins to lose its control. When you numb pain, it always comes back stronger. People with addiction need to stop giving their pain a crown and start giving it a voice. Then learn to take its message and let it go. They also need to take radical ownership of their environment. You cannot heal in the same environment where you got sick. You cannot rise in the same pit that pulled you down. People with addiction need to change their surroundings. If the bar is on your way home, Take a different route. If the friends you hang with are the ones handing you poison, you need new friends. If your house is full of triggers, clear it out. If your phone is a gateway to destruction, lock it down. Don't fool yourself into thinking you are stronger than temptation. Strength is not tested by how close you can get to the edge without falling. Strength is tested by whether you have the wisdom to walk away from the edge entirely. People with addiction need to stop playing games with fire and then wondering why they were burned. Build an environment that sets you up for freedom, not failure. And then, most importantly, people with addiction need to create a vision, because here's the thing, you cannot run away from something forever. You need to run towards something. If your only goal is don't use, then your whole mind stays focused on the substance. But if your goal is, I want to rebuild my marriage, I want to be present. For my kids, I want to start that business, I want to serve others, I want to write that book, I want to live with purpose. Suddenly, sobriety is not just about saying no, it's about saying yes to life. People with addiction need to see themselves not just as addicts in recovery, but as warriors on a mission, as dreamers chasing vision, as leaders creating impact. Because when your why is strong enough, your how becomes possible. When the vision is clear, the cravings lose their power. When your heart burns with something greater than the high becomes too small to satisfy you. Now, let me tell you this. Recovery is not a straight line. People with addiction need to understand that failure is not final. Relapse is not the end. Too many people slip once and say, see, I knew it, I'll never change. That is another lie. Listen, falling is part of learning to walk. No child stands up and runs perfectly the first time. They fall and fall again and fall again. But nobody says, well, I guess walking isn't for me. No, they get up again. People with addiction need to treat relapse not as a death sentence, but as data. Ask yourself, what triggered it? What hole in my armor did it exploit? What do I need to change next time? Every time you learn, you grow stronger. Every time you rise, you prove to yourself that you are not done. People with addiction need resilience. They need the unshakable decision that no matter how many times I fall, I will rise again. Because the only true failure is giving up. And hear me carefully. People with addiction need to forgive themselves. This may be the hardest thing of all, because addiction does just leave scars on your body. It leaves scars on your relationships, on your conscience. You remember the lies you told, the promises you broke, the money you wasted, the people you hurt. Shame becomes your shadow, and the temptation is to drown that shame with more the very thing that caused it. But listen, shame is a chain, and as long as you wear it, you will stay in prison. People with addiction need to say, yes, I messed up. Yes, I hurt people. Yes, I failed. But I am not beyond redemption. I am not beyond grace. I am not beyond a second chance. You need to forgive yourself, because until you do, you'll sabotage your own recovery. Forgiveness does mean erasing the past. It means refusing to let the past control the future. It means owning your story and choosing to write a new chapter. And people with addiction need faith in themselves, faith in something bigger than themselves. For some, that is God. For others, it is the belief in the human spirit, the belief in love, the belief in purpose. But you need something greater than your cravings to hold on to, because cravings will come, storms will come, dark nights will come. And in those nights, you need an anchor. People with addiction need to do this. They need to say, I believe I was made for more. I believe freedom is possible. I believe my life matters. I believe tomorrow can be better than today. Without faith, the fight feels endless. With faith, every step becomes a step toward light. People with addiction need to take one day at a time. One of the most dangerous lies addiction tells you is that you have to figure out the rest of your life today. It says, how are you going to stay clean forever? How will you make it through every holiday, every party, every stress, every disappointment without me? And when you think of forever, you get overwhelmed. But listen, you don't have to quit forever today. You just have to win today. You just have to say no today. You just have to show up today. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You climb it step by step. And every day you stay clean, every day you say no, every day you keep going, you stack bricks. And one day you look back and see you've built a fortress of strength you never imagined. People with addiction need to stop living in the fear of tomorrow and start winning the battle of today. They also need to rebuild trust slowly, consistently, painfully if necessary. Addiction steals trust from everyone around you. People stop believing your words. They stop believing your promises. They stop believing your tears. And I need to be real with you. They have every reason not to trust because you've broken it. But here, as the beauty of trust, though it is fragile, it is also rebuildable. People with addiction need to commit to living in such a way that their actions speak louder than their excuses. Show up when you say you'll show up. Do what you say you'll do. Apologize when you fail. Keep going when it's hard. Over time, trust can be rebuilt. And let me tell you, when your loved ones begin to look at you again, not with suspicion, but with pride, that is one of the greatest victories of recovery. People with addiction also need to serve. You might be thinking, how can I serve when my life is a mess? But let me tell you, service is part of your healing. When you help someone else, you remind yourself that your life still has value, that you are not just a consumer of pain, but a giver of hope. Addiction makes you self-centered, focused only on your next fix, your next escape, your next need, but service shifts the spotlight outward. Go volunteer. Encourage someone else. Share your story. Mentor another person who is struggling. Every time you serve, you are telling addiction, you don't own me anymore. I have something to give. And people with addiction need structure. Freedom is not just the absence of chains, it's the presence of order. If your days are empty, addiction will creep back in. Boredom is a dangerous trigger. People with addiction need routines. Wake up at a certain time, exercise, eat healthy meals, go to meetings, write in a journal, set goals, track progress. Structure creates stability, and stability creates strength. Chaos is addiction as playground, but order is recovery as foundation. Another thing people with addiction need to do is learn new coping skills. Because let's be honest, substances, behaviors, whatever your addiction is, it was meeting some need. It was your way of coping with stress, with trauma, with boredom, with loneliness. If you strip it away and don't replace it with something healthier, you are setting yourself up for relapse. So you gotta learn new tools. Learn to breathe deeply when anxiety hits. Learn to talk instead of isolate. Learn to write your thoughts instead of drowning them. Learn to go for a run instead of picking up a drink. Learn meditation, prayer, music, art, whatever it takes. People with addiction need to rewire their brain to cope with life in ways that build them up instead of tearing them down. And let me be clear, people with addiction need patience. Recovery is not instant. You won't feel amazing overnight. Your body may shake, your mind may scream, your emotions may feel raw. You may feel like a baby learning to walk again. And that's exactly what you are. You are relearning life. But babies grow, muscles strengthen, minds heal. Over time, cravings fade, joy returns, energy rises, clarity comes back, but you have to be patient. You planted seeds of destruction for years. Now you must plant seeds of healing and give them time to grow. Don't dig up the soil every day asking, where's the tree? Keep watering, keep waiting. Growth is happening even when you can see it. People with addiction need to guard against pride. The moment you think, I've got this, I don't need help anymore, I can do it alone, is the moment you are most vulnerable. Pride goes before the fall. Stay humble, stay teachable, keep learning, keep attending meetings, keep reaching out, keep admitting, I need help. Humility is not weakness, it is wisdom, because the truth is addiction never goes away completely. It waits, it watches. And the moment you let your guard down, it pounces. Stay humble and you stay free. They also need to learn gratitude. Gratitude is a weapon. Addiction trains your brain to focus on what you've done, to have, on what you've lost, on what hurts. Gratitude shifts the focus to what you do have, to what is good, to what is working. Start small. Be grateful for a sunrise, for a breath, for a friend, for a smile. Write it down every day. Gratitude rewires your brain to see hope instead of despair, to see possibility instead of emptiness. People with addiction who practice gratitude find strength where others see weakness, and joy where others see only struggle. And people with addiction need to dream again. Somewhere along the way, you stop dreaming. Addiction robbed you of your imagination, your hope, your goals. But inside you, those dreams are not dead. They were just buried. You need to dig them out. What did you once want to be? What passions did you once have? What goals lit your heart on fire before addiction drowned them? Dream again. Write them down. Speak them out loud. Even if they feel impossible right now, hold on to them, because dreams are fuel. They remind you why you are fighting. They give you something bigger than the high to live for. And I need you to hear this. People with addiction need to face their past, but they cannot live there. Yes, face it. Don't run from it. Admit the mistakes, the wounds, the regrets. Learn from them. Apologize when needed. Make amends when possible, but then let it go. Don't build a house in your past. Don't keep replaying the same failures in your mind. You are not your past. You are not your worst moment. You are not the mistakes you made when you were under the grip of addiction. You are who you decide to be today. People with addiction need to stop living like prisoners of yesterday and start living like architects of tomorrow. They also need to prepare for triggers. Triggers are real. Stress, loneliness, certain people, certain places, certain smells. Even certain songs can awaken cravings. People with addiction need a plan. Don't just hope you will be strong when the trigger comes. Plan ahead. If this happens, I'll call this person. If I am in this situation, I'll leave. If I feel this urge, I'll write or run or pray or breathe. Preparation beats temptation. A trigger may catch you by surprise, but a plan keeps you steady. And let me speak truth. People with addiction need to know they are loved. Love is more powerful than addiction. Many people think they're unlovable, that their family hates them, that they've let everyone down, and maybe it feels that way. But hear me, you are loved. Even if your family is angry, even if your friends left, even if you can feel it, you are still loved by someone greater, by life itself, by God if you believe, by the community of people who know what it's like to fight this same battle. And love heals, love covers, love restores. People with addiction need to let themselves receive love instead of running from it, and give love instead of hoarding pain. And finally, people with addiction need to refuse to quit. That's the bottom line. Never quit. Never surrender. Never give up. You may stumble, you may fall, you may relapse, you may cry, you may fail 1,000 times. But if you rise 1,001, you win. The only way addiction wins is if you stop fighting. And you are not going to stop fighting, because you are stronger than this. You are worth more than this. Your life matters. Your story matters. Your healing matters. People with addiction need to make the decision. I will fight until my last breath. I will never quit. And because I never quit, I will win. People with addiction need to do this. They need to take back their identity. You are not an addict. You are not a failure. You are not your darkest day. Those are labels addiction slapped on you, and you believed them for too long. But identity is powerful, and what you call yourself determines how you live. If you call yourself weak, you live weak. If you call yourself broken, you'll live broken. If you call yourself hopeless, you'll live hopeless. But if you declare, I am strong, I am free, I am a fighter, I am a child of God, I am a survivor, I'm more than my addiction, then every day you begin to step into that truth. People with addiction need to rise every morning, look in the mirror, and declare who they are becoming, not who they were. Because your future is not dictated by your past. It is dictated by the choices you make right now. And people with addiction need to stop running from responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom. Addiction kept you in chains by telling you nothing was your fault, that you could help it, that the world was against you. And yes, there are factors outside your control: trauma, genetics, pain, loss. But hear me, as long as you keep blaming everything outside you, you'll never change what is inside you. Responsibility is saying, this is my life, my choices matter. I can't change yesterday, but I can decide today. That is power, that is freedom. People with addiction need to stop pointing fingers and start taking the wheel. They also need to become storytellers. Why? Because your story has power. Eve, rise, scar you carry, every mistake you made, every battle you fought, those aren't just wounds, they are wisdom. Someone else is out there thinking they were alone, thinking no one understands, thinking there's no way out, and then they hear your story and they realize, if they can do it, I can too. People with addiction need to share their testimonies, to speak, to write, to mentor, because when you tell your story, you heal a little more and you help someone else heal too. And here, that's the truth you need to hear. People with addiction need to embrace discomfort. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Addiction is comfortable, it is predictable, it is familiar, it numbs. But recovery is uncomfortable. Facing yourself is uncomfortable. Owning your mistakes is uncomfortable. Saying no when your body screams yes is uncomfortable. Building new habits is uncomfortable. But listen, comfort is where you stay broken. Discomfort is where you grow strong. Every time you choose discomfort, you are choosing growth. Every time you say yes to the harder path, you are building muscles that will carry you for life. People with addiction need to laugh again. Laughter is medicine. Addiction drains your joy, makes life heavy, dark, serious, painful. But laughter reminds you that you are still alive, that joy is possible, that you are more than your struggle. Watch something funny. Spend time with people who make you laugh. Laugh at yourself, not with shame, but with humility. Laughter is healing. It breaks the chains of despair. It reminds you that you are human, that you are alive, that life can still be good. They also need to get healthy physically. Your body has been through war. Substances, sleepless nights, stress, they've taken a toll. People with addiction need to rebuild their body with rest, with war, with exercise, with good food, not overnight, not perfectly, but consistently. Every workout you do, every healthy meal you eat, every night of sleep you honor, you are telling your body, I care about you. I am not punishing you anymore. I am healing you. And a healthy body strengthens a healthy mind. And people with addiction need to practice discipline. Discipline is freedom. Addiction taught you instant gratification. I want it now. I need it now. I'll take it now. But discipline teaches you delayed gratification. I'll say no now so I can't have something better later. Discipline is waking up when you don't feel like it, keeping promises when it is inconvenient, doing the work even when you are tired. And when you practice discipline in small things, you gain strength for big things. People with addiction need to train discipline like a muscle until it becomes second nature. They also need to remember that recovery is not just about subtraction, it is about addition. It is not only about removing addiction, it is about adding life. Add hobbies, add friendships, add learning, add travel, add joy, add experiences. Fill your life so full of meaningful things that addiction no longer has room. A life of subtraction feels empty, but a life of addition feels abundant, and abundance is a powerful protector. People with addiction need to fight for their relationships. Addiction destroys connection. Recovery rebuilds it. Call your family. Apologize. Hug your kids. Reach out to old friends. Build new ones. Don't isolate. Connect. Humans heal in community. Love is the greatest antidote to addiction. Fight for it. Pursue it, protect it. They also need to prepare for storms, because storms will come. Stress, loss, grief, betrayal, they were all part of life. Addiction says, when storms come, run back to me. But recovery says, when storms come, I'll stand tall, I'll feel the rain, and I'll survive. People with addiction need to build resilience before the storm comes. Practice gratitude, build support, stay consistent, so when the storm hits, your roots are strong. And let me speak to the future. People with addiction need to leave a legacy. This is bigger than you. Your healing is not just for you. It is for your children, your grandchildren, your community. Addiction can run through families like a curse, but you have the power to break it. Imagine generations from now, your great-grandchild living free because you made the choice to end the cycle. That is legacy. That is power. That is victory. And here, as the ultimate thing people with addiction need to do, they need to choose life every single day. Addiction is death disguised as comfort. Recovery is life disguised as hard work. But the hard work is worth it. Because life is worth it. You are worth it. Every morning, wake up and choose life. Every time a craving comes, choose life. Every time despair whispers, choose life. Again and again and again. Until one day you realize you're not just surviving anymore. You are living, thriving, shining. So I say to every person fighting addiction, do this. Stand up. Own your story. Face your pain. Build your support. Change your environment. Create your vision. Forgive yourself. Serve others. Dream again. Laugh again. Love again. Live again. Because you are not your addiction. You are a warrior. You are a survivor. You are free. And when you feel like giving up, remember this. You've already survived things that would have killed others. You are still here. And if you are still here, it means your story is over. There are chapters yet to be written, victories yet to be won, lives yet to be touched by your courage. People with addiction need to rise, not just for themselves, but for everyone who needs the hope of their story. So fight when it is hard. Fight when it hurts. Fight when you are tired. Fight when you fall. Fight when the voice tells you you can. Fight when the cravings scream. Fight when the world doubts you. Fight because you are worth fighting for. And never forget, the chains of addiction are strong, but you are stronger. The lies are loud, but your truth is louder. The darkness is deep, but your light is deeper still. People with addiction need to do this. They need to believe that healing is possible. Believe that freedom is real. Believe that their best days are still ahead. Believe that no matter how many times they've fallen, they can rise one more time. Believe that the power within them is greater than the pull against them. Believe that they were made for more. And once you believe, act. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for permission. Act today. Act now. Act with courage. Act with faith. Act with determination. Because the future belongs to those who act. So let this be the day. The day you draw the line. The day you say, enough. The day you reclaim your name, your dignity, your freedom. The day you rise, the day you live. Because you are not your addiction. You are a miracle in motion, a fighter in training, a survivor becoming a leader, a wounded soul becoming a healer. People with addiction need to do this. They need to step into the life that was waiting for them all along.